Peppa Pig, Peppa's first colours. Zoe Zebra has made a yellow sandcastle at the beach. What else can you see that's yellow? A yellow sandcastle. A yellow trumpet. A yellow dress.
Wow!
Yellow boots. What can you see in the square? Wendy Wolf is wearing her green hat. What else can you see that's green? A green hat. A green bucket.
Wow!
A green car. A green dinosaur. What can you see in the diamond? Richard Rabbit loves riding his red tricycle. What else can you see that's red? A red feather. A red tricycle. Red pyjamas. A red backpack. What can you see in the star? George Pig is wearing a blue crown. What else can you see that's blue? A blue crown. A blue helmet.
Wow!
A blue ball. A blue cup. What can you see in the triangle? Peppa Pig is cuddling her orange teddy bear. What else can you see that's orange? An orange balloon. An orange teddy bear. Orange water wings. An orange bouncer. Orange ears.
Meow!
The end. Peppa Pig, Peppa's friends. Peppa loves dressing up. So do her friends.
Hooray!
Peppa is a fairy. I can do magic. Susie Sheep is a nurse. I'll make you better.
Hooray!
Danny Dog is a pirate.
Wow!
I'm looking for buried treasure. Pedro Pony is a clown. I can make you laugh. Candy Cat is a witch.
Meow!
I can do spells. Rebecca Rabbit is a carrot.
Wow!
I like carrots. Peppa has lots of fun dressing up with her friends. The end. Peppa Pig School Project. It is the end of the day at Peppa's playgroup. For your school project, I want you to go home and make a castle, says Madame Gazelle. Use your imagination and make it big and fantastic. Can we use glitter? asked Susie Sheep. Not too much glitter, it gets everywhere, says Madame Gazelle. The next morning, Peppa is eating breakfast. I'm doing a school project, says Peppa. I need to make a castle. Stick these yogurt pots on this cereal box, says Daddy Pig. No, Daddy, it has to be good, says Peppa. I see, replies Daddy Pig. Over at Susie's house, Susie and Mummy Sheep are looking at the computer. Are you sure Madame Gazelle told you to make a real fairy palace? Asks Mummy Sheep. Yes, says Susie, with all the little fiddly bits. Right, says Mummy Sheep. I think I'll stay at home today. Back at Peppa's house, Peppa draws a picture of the castle she wants to make. But it needs to be big enough for me to live in, says Peppa. We need to find a big cardboard box then, says Mummy Pig. Just then, the doorbell rings. Ding dong. Mr. Zebra is at the door with a delivery. It's just a light bulb, says Daddy Pig, opening up the big box. Why do they use so much packaging? Shall I take the box away? Asks Mr. Zebra. No, shouts Peppa. We need it for my project. After Mr. Zebra leaves, Mommy and Daddy Pig start making Peppa's castle.
Wow.
Peppa calls Susie on the phone. How is your school project going? Asks Peppa. It's going very well, says Susie. Mummy Sheep puts a tower on the palace. It needs to be more pointy, says Susie. How is your castle going? Asks Susie. It's hard work, says Peppa, but Mummy and Daddy are helping a teeny tiny bit. What do you think of this tower, Peppa? Asks Daddy Pig. It looks a bit cardboardy, says Peppa. I need to get on with my work now. Goodbye, Susie. Daddy Pig has painted Peppa's castle so it doesn't look so cardboardy anymore. Says Peppa. It just needs one more thing. Glitter. No, not glitter, replies Daddy Pig. The next morning, Peppa and her friends have brought their castles to playgroup. Susie's fairy palace is very glittery. Wendy Wolf's castle is very glittery. Candy Cat's castle is very glittery. Emily Elephant's castle is very glittery. My castle is made out of a cardboard box and lots of glitter, says Peppa. It is a very fine castle, says Madame Gazelle, and so sparkly. Now Madame Gazelle is very glittery. Peppa is very glittery. Even Mummy Pig is very glittery. Everyone is very glittery.
Wow.
Isn't it wonderful what children can make using just their imaginations, says Madame Gazelle. And my castle is big enough for me to live in, says Peppa.
Hooray!
Peppa loves school projects. Everyone loves school projects, especially glittery ones. The end. Peppa Pig, Peppa and Susie's argument. Peppa and her best friend Susie Sheep are playing Snap. I win again, says Susie. Peppa isn't happy. You cheated, she shouts. You looked at the card. I did not, cries Susie. I don't want to play with you anymore, says Peppa. I don't want to play with you anymore, says Susie. Peppa and Susie have had an argument. They are not best friends anymore. Mummy Sheep arrives to take Susie home. Peppa, say goodbye to Susie, says Mummy Pig. I'm not talking to her, says Peppa. And I'm not talking to her, says Susie. I'm sure they'll make up. They are best friends, really, says Mummy Pig. We are not best friends anymore, says Peppa. The next day is lovely and sunny. All the children are at the playground. Everyone is playing with their best friend. Everyone except Peppa and Susie. Susie is on the swing, on her own. She feels sad. Peppa is playing mini-golf on her own. She feels sad. Emily Elephant comes over. Please, can I have a go? Asks Emily. Yes, says Peppa. You can be my best friend. But my best friend is Candy Cat, says Emily. Susie watches Zoe Zebra play on the slide. Zoe, if you want, you can be my best friend, says Susie. But my best friend is Rebecca Rabbit, says Zoe. Zoe and Rebecca skip off together. Susie is alone again. Then Peppa and Susie see each other. Hello, Susie, says Peppa. Hello, Peppa, says Susie. I think it's time you two made up, says Daddy Pig. Only if Susie says sorry first. Only if Peppa says sorry first, says Susie. I'll count to 3, and you can both say sorry at the same time, suggests Daddy Pig. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, say Peppa and Susie together. Now you can be best friends again, says Daddy Pig. Susie, let's play mini-golf, says Peppa.
Wow.
Good idea, says Susie. Peppa goes first. Her ball stops near the hole. Susie goes next. Her ball knocks Peppa's ball into the hole. I win, says Peppa. No, I win, says Susie. But my ball knocked it in, so I win, says Susie. Peppa and Susie are having an argument again. Oh no! Ho ho! You two are just the same, says Daddy Pig. Peppa and Susie laugh too. They realise he is right. That's why Susie is my best friend in the whole world, says Peppa. And Peppa is my best friend in the whole world, says Susie. Everyone is happy that Peppa and Susie are friends again. The end. Peppa Pig. Peppa gets a vaccination. Mummy Pig was taking Peppa to the doctor for her health check and vaccination. Are we all ready? Said Mummy Pig. Yes, said Peppa. I've got Teddy. And I've got your red book, added Mummy Pig. What's that? Asked Peppa. It's your very own book, said Mummy Pig. It helps doctors see how you're growing up.
Wow.
Hello, Peppa, said Dr. Brown Bear when they arrived. Have you come for your health check and vaccination? Yes, said Peppa. I've brought my red book and Teddy too. Very good, said Dr. Brown Bear. You're seeing Dr. Polar Bear today. Suddenly, a bell rang. Ah, that means she's ready to see you, explained Dr. Brown Bear.
Hooray!
Peppa and Mummy Pig walked into the doctor's office. Hello, said Dr. Polar Bear cheerily. Who do we have here? I'm Peppa, said Peppa, and this is Teddy. Lovely, said Dr. Polar Bear. Now, did you bring your red book? Peppa handed her book to Dr. Polar Bear. Excellent, said Dr. Polar Bear. Let's start by seeing how tall you are, said Dr. Polar Bear. She took Peppa over to the measuring stick. Peppa stood up very straight. "Wonderfully done," said Dr. Polar Bear. "I'm a big girl now," Peppa said proudly. "Yes, you are," said Dr. Polar Bear. She got out her pen and wrote Peppa's height in the red book. "Now, Peppa, can you hop on these for me, please?" said Dr. Polar Bear, pointing to her weighing scales. Peppa stepped onto the scales. "These scales tell us how heavy you are," said Dr. Polar Bear. "Ooh," said Peppa. "That's good," said Dr. Polar Bear, writing in Peppa's red book again. "Now, it's time to use a stethoscope to listen to your heart," said Dr. Polar Bear. "What's a stethoscope?" asked Peppa. "A stethoscope helps me hear your heartbeat and the air going in and out of your lungs," said Dr. Polar Bear. "I put this bit on your chest and listen through the earpieces." "Peppa," said Dr. Polar Bear, "would you like to listen to your heart beating?" "Yes, please," cried Peppa. Dr. Polar Bear put the stethoscope earpieces on Peppa's ears. said Peppa. "It's going bumpy dump, bumpy dump, bumpy dump. Bumpy dump, bumpy dump, bumpy dump." "Now it's your turn, Teddy," said Peppa, putting the stethoscope's chest piece on Teddy's chest. "Is Teddy's heart going bumpy bump, bumpy dump, bumpy dump?" asked Dr. Polar Bear. "No," said Peppa. "Teddy's heart doesn't do that because Teddy is a toy." "Oh, I see," said Dr. Polar Bear, smiling. Next, Dr. Polar Bear got out her special doctor's torch.
Wow.
"I'm going to look in your ears now," she said. Dr. Polar Bear shone the torch into each of Peppa's ears. said Peppa. "That tickles." Dr. Polar Bear checked carefully inside Peppa's ears. "That all looks lovely," she said. "Now I'll check your mouth," said Dr. Polar Bear. "I need you to open wide and say, ah." Dr. Polar Bear opened her mouth and showed Peppa what to do. Like this. Ah! Peppa opened her mouth as wide as it would go and stuck her tongue out. Ah! She yelled very loudly. "Wonderful," said Dr. Polar Bear. "Do you want to check my nose?" asked Peppa. "Thank you, Peppa," said Dr. Polar Bear. "I can see that your nose is working very well." Hooray! Everyone laughed. Dr. Polar Bear put lots of ticks in Peppa's red book. "Now, it's time for your vaccination," said Dr. Polar Bear. "Do you know why we have vaccinations, Peppa?" Peppa put her hand up. "Yes, they stop us from getting ill, and that helps the people around us too." "That's right," said Dr. Polar Bear, impressed. "Sometimes vaccinations are given as a little spray in your nose, and sometimes as a tiny pinprick in your arm." Peppa held Teddy as Dr. Polar Bear gave her the vaccination. It was very quick. Hooray! "Well done, Peppa," said Dr. Polar Bear. "Would you like a sticker now?" "Oh, yes, please," squealed Peppa, jumping up. "I love stickers." "Me too," said Dr. Polar Bear, smiling. "Are there any questions you want to ask me before you go, Mummy Pig?" said Dr. Polar Bear. "No, thank you, Doctor," replied Mummy Pig. "I have a question," cried Peppa. Have you had your vaccination, Dr. Polar Bear? Yes, Peppa, said Dr. Polar Bear. Good.
Hooray!
Then you can have a sticker too. Peppa loves getting stickers from the doctor.
Hooray!
Everyone loves getting stickers from the doctor. The end. Peppa Pig. Peppa meets the Queen. Peppa and her family are watching television. Suddenly, there is a special announcement from the Queen. The Queen! The Queen! Peppa cheers. Hello to you all, the Queen says. Today I have decided to give an award to the hardest working person in the country.
Wow!
The hardest working person in the country is Miss Rabbit. At the supermarket, Miss Rabbit is closing the shop when Mr. Zebra the postman presents her with a golden letter. Miss Rabbit, please come to my palace to get a medal for all your hard work. Bring friends, all the best to Queen. I can't visit the Queen, I've got too much work to do, Miss Rabbit panics. Don't worry, Peppa says. The Queen has made it a holiday. It is the day Miss Rabbit visits the Queen. Peppa and her friends are going too. We're off to see the Queen, we're off to see the Queen. E-I-A-D-O, we're off to see the Queen. Here we are, Miss Rabbit squeaks.
Wow!
Look at all the fancy stuff. Woof, Danny Dog says. Don't touch anything, Miss Rabbit warns. Where is the Queen? Emily Elephant asks. Queen! Susie Sheep calls. Where are you? In another fancy room, there is a lady sitting on a throne knitting. Hello, Peppa says. Have you seen the Queen today? I am the Queen, the lady says. The children are very excited to meet you, Your Majesty, says Miss Rabbit. I'm excited to meet all of you, the Queen says, standing up. And now for Miss Rabbit's medal.
Wow!
This is the Queen's award for industry. Keep up the good work. The Queen puts a shiny gold medal over Miss Rabbit's head. Cheers for Miss Rabbit, the Queen says. Hip hip, hooray, shout the children.
Hooray! Hooray!
Miss Rabbit and the children wear their boots to go out into the palace gardens with the Queen. Do you play in your garden all the time, Your Majesty? Danny Dog asks. I don't have time for playing, no, answers the Queen. She suddenly stops. Oh dear, a muddy puddle. Never mind, we can walk around it. You can't walk around a muddy puddle, Peppa says. You have to jump in it. Peppa shows the Queen how to jump up and down in a muddy puddle. I say, that does look fun, the Queen says. Here one goes then. Stop! Shouts Peppa. Everyone gasps. If you jump in muddy puddles, Peppa says, you must wear your boots, Your Majesty. The Queen goes inside and comes back with her boots on. everyone loves jumping up and down in muddy puddles, including the Queen. The end. Peppa Pig, Grumpy Rabbit's hovercraft. Grandpa Pig is taking Peppa and George out for the first time on his sailing boat. "Hello, old bean," says Mr. Stallion. "Grandpa, that man just called you an old bean," cries Peppa. "It's another way of saying old friend," says Grandpa Pig. "Now, where did I leave my boat?" says Grandpa Pig. "What does your boat look like, Grandpa?" asks Peppa. "It has a little red flag on top of the mast," says Grandpa Pig. "Like that little flag?" asks Peppa. Oh dear, Grandpa Pig's sailing boat has sunk. Oh no! Grampy Rabbit zooms past the boat. "What is that monstrosity?" asks Mr. Stallion. "Is it allowed in the sailing club?" asks Mrs. Corgi. Grampy Rabbit reaches Peppa and George. "Hello!" shouts Grampy Rabbit. "What a marvellous day for sailing!" "Hello, Grampy Rabbit," says Peppa. "Grandpa Pig, you look sad," says Grampy Rabbit. "What's the matter?" "We can't go sailing because our boat has sunk," says Peppa. "Why don't you hop onto my hovercraft?" suggests Grampy Rabbit. "You can't drive that thing around here," says Grandpa Pig. "You're not a member of the sailing club." "Well, you're a member, aren't you?" replies Grampy Rabbit. "So I'm sure it will be perfectly fine."
Hooray!
Peppa, George and Grandpa Pig board Grampy Rabbit's hovercraft. "Hold on to your hats!" shouts Grampy Rabbit as they zoom across the sea. Grampy Rabbit's hovercraft can go on land and water.
Wow!
Mr. Stallion and Mrs. Corgi are enjoying a peaceful day sailing. "Oh, what is that horrible noise?" cries Mrs. Corgi. "It's that monstrosity again," says Mr. Stallion. "Whoopee! Ha ha!" says Grampy Rabbit. Grampy Rabbit stops off at the Sailing Club Cafe to get some juice. "This is the life, eh?" says Grampy Rabbit. "The sea and the sky and the boat sailing by."
Wow!
"But the boats are not sailing by, Grampy Rabbit," says Peppa. "There's no wind," says Grandpa Pig. "Without wind, sailing boats can't sail." Suddenly, they hear voices calling for help. "It's Mr. Stallion and Mrs. Corgi. We need to rescue them, Grampy Rabbit," says Peppa. Grampy Rabbit zooms towards the shouting. "Ahoy there!" he calls. "We can't get back to the dock without the wind," says Mrs. Corgi. "Toss me a line and I'll tow you back in," says Grampy Rabbit. Grampy Rabbit's hovercraft tows the sailing boats back to shore. "We're towing the boats to shore! We're towing the boats to shore!" sings Grampy Rabbit. "We're towing the boats to the car park! Towing the boats to B Park!" sings Grampy Rabbit. Now you don't have to go so far to walk your cars. But sailing boats don't go on land like hovercrafts, gasped Grandpa Pig. Grandpa Pig, who is your friend? Asked Mr. Stallion. We must thank him for rescuing us. His name is Grampy Rabbit, replies Grandpa Pig. Grandpa Rabbit, delighted to meet you, old bean, says Mr. Stallion. You too, old bean, replies Grumpy Rabbit. The end. Peppa Pig, Miss Rabbit's Day Off. Peppa, George and Susie Sheep have had a sleepover at Rebecca Rabbit's house. It's fun having carrots for breakfast, laughs Peppa. I could eat carrots all day, agrees Daddy Rabbit. Mummy Rabbit's sister, Miss Rabbit, pops in to say hello.
Hooray!
I can't stop long, she says. I've got lots of work to do. I'm working at the supermarket, selling ice creams and driving the bus.
Wow!
Miss Rabbit trips over one of Richard's toys.
Ouch!
Her ankle is hurt.
Oh no!
You must stay here and get better, decides Miss Rabbit. I'll do your work for you. Mummy Rabbit puts Rebecca and her friends in charge of looking after Miss Rabbit. Luckily, Susie Sheep has her nurse's outfit with her.
Hooray!
Don't worry, she says. I am only a pretend nurse. Mummy Rabbit goes straight to the supermarket. Miss Rabbit is ill, she tells everyone. I'll be doing her job today. Have you ever worked a checkout before? Asked Mrs. Dog. Mummy Rabbit has not. Running a supermarket checkout is quite hard. Miss Rabbit calls home. We need more help, she cries. This job is going to take me all day. Peppa phones Miss Rabbit's ice cream stall. Daddy Pig answers. Miss Rabbit is ill. You've got to sell the ice cream today. Oh, snorts Daddy Pig. I'm an expert at ice cream. He gets to work. Selling ice cream is quite hard. Soon the ice cream begins to melt.
Oh no!
The ice cream is all runny. Ice cream soup, anyone? Asked Daddy Pig. Peppa phones Grandad Dog. Miss Rabbit is very ill. Can you drive her bus today? Grandad Dog gets to work, but driving a bus is quite hard. It is even harder when you have cars to fix too.
Oh no!
Back at Rebecca Rabbit's house, Miss Rabbit is feeling better.
Hooray!
Can I get up now? She asks. Susie Sheep shakes her head. No, you must lie very still, but please keep breathing. It's not easy doing all your jobs, says Mummy Rabbit at the end of the day. It's not easy sitting down all day, says Miss Rabbit. She will definitely be back at work tomorrow. The end. Peppa Pig, Garden Games. It is a lovely sunny day. Peppa and George are playing outside with Susie's sheep. Daddy Pig brings out a large box. It is full of garden games. Here you are, he says. Susie looks inside the box. She pulls out 3 wooden sticks.
Wow.
Juggle sticks, she cries. Watch me juggle. Susie throws the sticks up into the air. They all land on the grass. Those aren't juggling sticks, laughs Daddy Pig. They are Skittles. Daddy Pig stands the Skittles up. Peppa throws a ball and tries to knock the Skittles down. Hooray! Shouts Peppa. I got 2.
Hooray!
Now it's Susie's turn.
This game is very hard,
warns Peppa.
You probably won't be able to do it.
Susie throws the ball. She knocks over all the Skittles.
Wow.
Oh, says Peppa. George is too little for Skittles. He wants to play bat and ball instead. Peppa can throw the ball, says Daddy Pig, and George has to bat it. George hits the ball. Susie catches it. Oh dear, George is out.
Oh no!
Poor George. He is too little for bat and ball. You just need a bit more practice, says Daddy Pig. Watch me. Daddy Pig bats the ball hard. Oops! It has gone all the way into the house. Mummy Pig is having a coffee in the kitchen. She is very surprised to see Daddy Pig. Can we have our ball back, please? He asks. Yes, says Mummy Pig, but please play more carefully in the future. Danny Dog comes to play in the garden too. Daddy Pig decides to start a new game.
Hooray!
He gets 2 bars and a yellow pole out of the box.
What's that?
Says Peppa. Limbo, replies Daddy Pig.
Wow.
He turns on some music, leans backwards, then walks underneath the pole. Daddy Pig makes the pole lower, but this time he can't walk underneath it.
Your tummy is too big,
Giggles Peppa.
My turn,
Says Danny. Danny, Peppa, Susie and George all walk under the pole. Now we'll make the pole even lower, says Daddy Pig.
Easy,
Giggles Peppa. But this time, when Peppa tries, the pole falls down.
It's impossible,
She decides.
Nobody can walk under that.
The pole is very, very low, says George. He wants to have a go.
Wow,
Shouts Danny.
George can do it.
George is the best at limbo because he is so little. Well done, George. The end. Happy birthday, Peppa. Once upon a time, it was nearly Peppa's birthday, and she was on the telephone to Susie's sheep.
I'm going to have a party, and Daddy is doing a magic show,
Peppa told Susie excitedly. Ho ho! I hope you don't mind, Daddy, Mummy Pig whispered. I promise, Peppa. Ho ho! Not at all, Daddy Pig replied. Of course, the amazing Mysterio will make an appearance. George was excited too. He loved parties and magic shows. Peppa wanted to start planning her party straight away. She asked Mummy Pig if she could invite all of her friends. Yes, Mummy Pig said, and George can invite some too.
But George's friends are little,
Peppa said. Mummy Pig told Peppa that she could teach George's friends all the party games.
Wow!
Oh yes, I am very good at that,
agreed Peppa. Soon it was Peppa's birthday. It was very early in the morning, but Peppa was already wide awake.
Wake up, Daddy, it's my birthday,
Peppa shouted, bouncing on Mummy and Daddy Pig's bed. What time is it? Asked Mummy Pig. Daddy Pig checked. It was 5 o'clock in the morning. By 7 o'clock, everyone was dressed and ready for breakfast. Okay, let's get your birthday started, Mummy Pig said. George passed Peppa her birthday present. Happy birthday, Peppa, Mummy and Daddy Pig said together. George said. Peppa tore off the pretty paper excitedly. It was a pink polka dot doll's dress for Teddy.
Wow!
Thank you, everyone,
she cried. Ding dong! Peppa's friends had arrived. Happy birthday, Peppa! Shouted Candy Cat,
Meow.
Susie Sheep, Danny Dog, Rebecca Rabbit, Zoe Zebra, Emily Elephant and Pedro Pony. George's little friends were there too. Squeak! said Richard Rabbit, Edmund Elephant and Zuzu and Zaza Zebra. Peppa explained how to play musical statues to George and his friends.
You have to dance when the music is playing, and when it stops, freeze like a statue.
Click! Danny Dog pressed play on the stereo, but no one moved.
You've got to dance,
Peppa called. The little children started to dance. Head, shoulders, knees and toes. Click! Danny Pig turned off the stereo. George, Richard, Edmund, Zuzu and Zaza froze.
You're moving, George, Peppa said. You're out.
George cried very loudly. One by one, all of George's friends were out, except for Zaza.
Zaza is the winner,
Emily Elephant announced. Here's your medal, she added, looping the red ribbon around the little zebra's neck.
It's made of real plastic gold,
Candy Cat said.
Meow.
Cried George, Richard, Edmund and Zuzu. They wanted medals too. Daddy Pig hurried in to cheer everyone up with a magic show. Peppa, whispered Daddy Pig, remember to introduce me as the amazing Mysterio.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Magic Daddy, said Peppa.
Hooray! The audience cheered and clapped. Magic Daddy took off his top hat and waved a hand over it, ready to perform his first trick.
Wow!
Ta-da! Teddy appeared from Magic Daddy's hat. The children clapped again. For my next trick, I need a helper from the audience, said Magic Daddy. Everyone put their hands up. Magic Daddy chose Susie Sheep.
Hooray!
Okay, Susie, here are 3 coloured balls, he said, turning his back and closing his eyes. You have to secretly choose one while I'm not looking.
Susie picked up the red ball. Abracadabra, Magic Daddy said. You chose yellow, Magic Daddy guessed. No, said Susie Sheep. Magic Daddy guessed again. You chose blue. No, Susie Sheep said. Magic Daddy had one more guess. You chose red. Yes, Susie Sheep said. Hooray! The children cheered and clapped. Peppa wasn't sure Magic Daddy should have said all three colours, but she clapped along anyway. Next, Magic Daddy turned off the lights. Close your eyes. No peeping. Now say the magic word. Abracadabra! The children cried. Open your eyes, cried Magic Daddy, turning the lights back on. The children opened their eyes. Ooh, they gasped. Mummy Pig was holding a delicious-looking cake with 4 candles on it. My banana birthday cake, cried Peppa. Blow the candles out, Peppa, Mummy said. And don't forget to make a wish, Daddy Pig added. Peppa squeezed her eyes shut and wished very hard. Then she blew them all out at once. Hooray! Cheered her friends. Happy birthday, Peppa! Susie Sheep asked her what she'd wished, but Peppa wouldn't tell. She really wanted her birthday wish to come true. And finally, announced Magic Daddy, I have one last trick to amaze you with. Abracadabra! He pulled a present from his top hat and handed it to Peppa. Peppa squealed, tearing off the paper and opening the box. Inside was a beautiful pair of yellow wellies. Right, boots on everyone, Mummy Pig called. All the children ran to the hall to put on their wellies. What's happening? Peppa asked. Why has everyone brought their boots? Peppa, George and their friends followed Mummy Pig out into the garden. Peppa was so excited she couldn't stop skipping. Daddy Pig and George quickly picked up 2 buckets and poured water all over the grass. Surprise! Everyone shouted. Happy birthday, Peppa! Puddles! Hooray! Peppa yelled, leaping in and jumping up and down. My birthday wish came true! Come on, everyone! Mummy Pig, Daddy Pig, George, George's friends and Peppa's friends all jumped in. Everyone loves jumping in muddy puddles. This is the best birthday ever! Shouted Peppa. The end. My Mummy and Me. This is Mummy and me. We do everything together. I love doing things with my mummy because she can do anything.
Wow!
Great steering, Mummy. Here are some of our favourite things to do. We love racing downhill together as fast as we possibly can. Wee, look out, Peppa. My mummy is super fast. We love making little craft projects together. And enormous ones too. Just a few more hours and we'll be finished, Peppa. My mummy is super at crafts. We love looking for adventures together, like zooming deep down into caves.
Wow.
And deep down into snow. My mummy is a super adventurer. We love having fun together at soft play. I think her favourite part is the ball pit. I need a little help, Peppa. My mummy is super funny. We love dressing up together. We pretend to be lots of incredibly important people. And other things too. My mummy is a super dresser-upper. We love dancing together. We spin around and around and around and fall over. Again and again and again. My mummy is a super dancer. But most of all, we love soaring high over the mountains together. Sometimes even without a plane. Don't look down, Peppa. My mummy and me love doing everything together because my mummy is super mummy.
Wow.
The end.
Hi kids, did you have fun watching this video? Then like and subscribe for more.